Have you ever stopped to think about why old NASCAR video games, especially those from the start of the 21st century, like NASCAR Thunder 2004, are still loved by many? For a lot of people, these games take them on a trip down memory lane, to a time when things were much simpler. This was a time before big video game companies, like the famous EA, faced criticism for pushing their products too hard on players. But first, hit that like and subscribe for more. It's really interesting that even with all the attention and love, no official game called NASCAR 10 came out. Suppose we want to truly understand this intriguing topic. In that case, it is essential to take a moment and travel back in time to see the origins of how Electronic Arts, or EA for short, began their adventure in the world of NASCAR gaming. This story commences in the late 90s, specifically in 1997, when EA introduced a video game, NASCAR 98. This game marked EA's debut in the realm of NASCAR video gaming, showcasing their initial attempt to capture the essence of the sport in digital form. After launching NASCAR 98, EA didn't just stop there. They recognized their potential and aimed for perfection. The subsequent years saw them honing their skills, refining the gaming experience, and releasing game after game, year after year. From 1998 to 2000, they surprised fans with a total of 5 exciting racing games. Each release built upon the last, garnering more attention and interest from the gaming community. However, 2001 witnessed a significant shift. EA came out with a game, but it wasn't just any game. It was NASCAR Thunder 2002. The name was fresh, indicating that there was something new and exhilarating in store for the players. Between the years 2002 and 2004, something magical happened. This was a golden era for EA's NASCAR video games. The fans were not just playing these games, they were living them. They became incredibly popular, and the reception was overwhelmingly positive. A shining star among these releases was NASCAR Thunder 2003. Many gamers and critics alike believe that this particular title did an exceptional job at replicating the real-world racing experience. The visuals, the sounds, and the adrenaline. It felt as if one were sitting right there in the driver's seat during an actual race. But if there was one game that stood out and is still etched in the memories of countless players, it's NASCAR Thunder 2004. This game was a masterpiece, not just because of its impeccable graphics or sound, but because of a unique gameplay feature it introduced. In the game, virtual drivers had personalities. They could become your allies or turn into fierce rivals based on how you raced against them. This added a layer of strategy and depth, making players feel like they were navigating real-life relationships and rivalries on the track. It was not just about speed, it was about strategy, emotions, and the art of racing. This made the game unforgettable and a favorite for many. Then, in 2004, EA introduced a new game, NASCAR 2005 Chase for the Cup. This wasn't just any game. It brought in smaller racing categories and put the spotlight on a race series called Chase for the Nextel Cup. It was different and got a lot of people excited. So just like many big projects or companies, EA's time of dominating the NASCAR gaming world started to face some troubles. In 2006, they brought out NASCAR 06. It was okay, but it didn't have that special feeling that the earlier games had. Every new game they made after seemed a little bit less exciting than the one before, and by the time 2009 came around, they released NASCAR 09. This game had a cool online mode where players could connect and play together, but sometimes when people played it, it felt messy and out of control, kind of like watching a car crash in a race caused by Stephen Wallace. In a move that took many by surprise, EA also decided to make a different type of game in 2009. It was called NASCAR Kart Racing and was made for the Wii game system. This release happened at the same time as the big Daytona 500 race that year. What most fans didn't realize was that this funny little game would be the last NASCAR game from EA. Now let's talk about a mystery that still puzzles many, the story of NASCAR 10. In 2009, the game was being made and was supposed to be shown to everyone in 2010. But in a shocking move that left everyone scratching their heads, EA Sports said in September 2009 that they were stopping the production of NASCAR games. They wanted to focus on making games about MMA instead. This just goes to show how the world of video games can change in unexpected ways. A couple of years later, in 2011, a company named Technics released a game called NASCAR 2011 The Game. People were talking about it a lot and were excited. However, many still wondered about NASCAR 10 and why it never made it. This question hung over the new games, making them feel like they were in the shadow of what could have been. Hints started appearing about how NASCAR 10 might look, and it excited a lot of people. There were some pictures that leaked, and these pictures showed us 3 different racetracks. One of these was the always popular Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Another one was the busy Bristol Motor Speedway. The third one looked like a big round stadium, very much like the famous Langhorne Coliseum we all know. Both the Indianapolis and the Bristol tracks look similar to versions we've seen in old games, but there was something new and exciting about the Bristol track. It was made longer and had a really steep slope. The whole track was surrounded by thick walls of concrete. Now about that big round stadium. It looked so interesting, it promised a totally different kind of race. Some people even whispered that it might have been a part of NASCAR 09. If it was going to be in NASCAR 10, it would give players a really tough time. This would have made it one of the most talked about features in the racing game community. Let's talk more about NASCAR 09. Back then it was a top game. There were so many extra things DLC you could get for this game. Even when EA, the company that made the game, chose to stop making NASCAR games, they kept adding more to NASCAR 09. Players got to enjoy lots of car designs, mostly from races that took place in 2008. This made the game feel so real and exciting. The Montreal Road Course is definitely something we should discuss. Why? Well, back in 2007, it was introduced into the NASCAR races. When this news came out, a large number of fans were jumping with joy. The idea of this track being their favorite game was truly electrifying for them. What's even more impressive is how carefully and meticulously the track was crafted. Every tiny detail was looked into. This level of precision meant that players could challenge their buddies on this very track and feel their hearts racing with excitement. Things weren't always smooth. A major setback occurred when EA, the leading game company, made an unexpected move. They disassociated themselves from the game, making access to the extra DLC content harder than before. But gamers, ever resourceful, took matters into their own hands. Some savvy players unearthed missing game pieces and generously shared them online. Yet, this solution wasn't perfect. The game often crashed mid-action, leaving players frustrated. Plus, there was a unique glitch on the Montreal track. A blinding sun glare made it difficult for players to see, complicating the gameplay experience for many. These little mysteries make old games like these even more interesting to talk about. For example, why was the sun on the Montreal track so bright? No one knows, and it's become a big question in the gaming world. NASCAR 10 was supposed to be a game changer, but they decided not to release it just a year before it was supposed to come out. This made both the people who made the game and the fans really sad. I have a message for all the gamers out there. If you know anything about NASCAR 10, I really want to hear about it. Maybe you've heard some rumors, or maybe you have some exclusive information. What do you think NASCAR 10 would have been like? What kind of features or tracks do you think it would have had? Let's talk about it. Hit that like and subscribe for more.